guys, so this is going to be a my first time doing a collective, general population reading. As you can see in the photo, I have 3 piles of cards, and they're each pulled from a different Oracle, Tarot, or Lenormand deck. And what would work best would be for, before you watch this video, go ahead and choose your pile. You can do this by meditating on it for a few minutes, or just pick whatever number resonates most to you, 1, 2, or 3, or you can just, if whatever crystal or stone is above the deck, if you feel a particular connection with one of those rocks, choose your deck that way. So either way, again, I just want to preface this and say thank you for watching, but also these are general collective readings, so take what resonates. If something doesn't resonate, don't worry too much about it. Just kind of take the pieces of things that fit into your life, and just see what happens, and let me know how you feel after you've watched this video for your pile of cards. And I'm gonna start off right now. So pile number 1, Labradorite. I really love this palm stone. I'm very partial to palm stones, but this is pile number 1, and it looks like we have the tree for the Lenormand, and the tree is for Lenormand readers, just a quick thing on Lenormand, they're closer, I think in my opinion, they're closer to Oracle cards, so they're more straightforward. The tree is, stereotypically known as, the tree of knowledge and life and, wisdom. It's an old, if you can see on the card, the imagery is, it's an old oak tree. So this has been around for a while, you're an established personality, and, this doesn't necessarily mean that you're older. It just means that maybe you are more mature, or you handle things better. Oh, sorry, cat. But anyway, yeah, it just means that your energy is very, very mature. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with your physical age. And whatever, in the ways that you approach situations tend to be more from a methodical and very thought through point of view. So you tend to not, run and rush right into things. You definitely consider and balance all of your options first. Let's see, the next card is going to be from the Oracle deck, Hedgewitch Botanical. I love this one, and for anyone who is also an herb or plant lover, highly recommend. But this is Caution from that deck. And yeah, so again, I feel like overthinking can get us into a bit of a bind sometimes, and I know it does for me personally. But when you're faced with certain situations, be it your love life, your career, your creative passions, you don't want to get stuck in that rut of judging everything you do to the point where it's not conducive to improvement. It's always good to have a healthy balance of ego and humbleness when working with just about anything. Having the self-confidence to put your best foot forward and really own your art and own your business, your literally anything. But just having that bravery to just put your foot down and say, you know what, no, I am good at this, and no, you know what, I deserve better. So it's really time to if this is resonating, and you chose this pile, you might want to start thinking about these areas in your life where maybe you're stagnating, maybe you're overthinking things, maybe it's time for a change up. And that actually makes a lot of sense with just last night, I believe, was the new moon in Scorpio. So a lot of changing happening here, ending of cycles that no longer serve us. This is, again, caution. Don't don't hold on to things that no longer serve your better purpose. I feel that this applies specifically to people. I'm really getting the sense that this applies to people in long-term relationships right now. There are quite a few people that stick and cling to these things because they're comfortable. And while that's completely valid, and I'm by no means suggesting that you do something you're not ready to do, it's just a healthy thing to keep in mind that, you know, there are bigger and better things on the horizon. So I please hope you see this message as a message of hope. And, you know, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Even if you're not in a long-term relationship, you know, maybe it's a relationship with, you know, yourself and finding that self-discovery, or a business partner, you know. There's just don't overthink it. Really listen to your inner child and your inner, you know, what does your body feel when you're around certain people or when you're doing certain things. And 9 times out of 10, that'll tell you everything you need to know. But the next card is a tarot card from Universal Rider-Waite, King of Cups. Now, again, this is another card that, you know, this is usually a card that comes up for people that, I want to say, they have a lot to offer. Cups, the suit of cups in tarot is typically very emotionally oriented. You know, that these are people that really have a good hold on their emotions, and, you know, they could say something without actually saying anything at all. These are people that you really do need to read between the lines and know them very well before you can really truly know what's going on the inside. But King of Cups, tying it into, you know, having that wisdom from Lenormand, and then having the, you know, the wherewithal and the caution and the, you know, awareness to, you know, not overthink and to really utilize that wisdom that you do have. And that experience, it does come in handy, and you do have it. You know, don't start getting in your own head and overthinking and convincing yourself that you don't have what it takes, because you do. And this confirms that, because not only do you have the wisdom and the experience of, you know, the tree, but you also have the emotional depth and wherewithal to handle quite a few things. And the king is, this is not necessarily a male, but definitely, I do say, like a more masculine energy. This is someone who maybe you don't feel, you're a take charge person, but you are not in any situations right now where you feel empowered. So I think this card is really calling on us to, you know, look inward and really, really start to recognize the emotional value that you have. I mean, we all do. We all have that value, but we all bring something different to the table, and it's just more about recognizing that what we have to offer is just as valid as anybody else's. And this next card is my personal favorite deck. It's the Tarot Muha, and this is Judgment Reversed. So we are looking here at kind of a big shakeup, you know. I mean, and big, of course, is a relative term. You know, not everybody views certain events as the same, you know, caliber. But if there's something that you feel is going to bubble to the surface here pretty soon in your life, that's probably, you know, this is confirming that. Because, you know, there are frustrations that are being built up, and, you know, maybe you haven't spoken those frustrations out. Maybe you haven't really, you know, you've pent them up inside you this whole time. And, you know, that's unhealthy, and it's not conducive to any relationship, love, platonic, business, your school, anything. You know, it's not conducive, and it's always a good idea to speak your mind, and do so in a polite and cordial way. I mean, just because you're sharing, you know, how you feel doesn't necessarily mean that you're being abrasive. People's reactions to your words is not your responsibility. So just keep that in mind whenever, it could be a fight, it could be maybe someone involving a lawsuit of some sort, maybe not necessarily suing, but just going to court over something. I'm really getting that message right now. So just keep that in mind. Take the high road, but also, you know, don't let people walk all over you. Key phrase, you know, do no harm but take no shit, right? So let's just try to keep that one in mind whenever these situations arise in our lives that are, you know, less than convenient and are very frustrating. And remember, you know, you offer, excuse me, we offer, you know, you offer a lot. You have a lot of emotional depth here, and you know, you don't want to let anybody take that for granted. No one needs to take that for granted. So just keep that in mind as you push through, you know, with you know, whatever tough situations are going to arise up in your life here pretty soon. And this last card is a Native American Oracle deck, and this really gives me kind of a feeling of resolution here. This is the nurturing card, and that tells me that despite, you know, despite going through whatever it is you were going through, whether it's, you know, you've been entertaining thoughts of leaving a long-term partner, or, you know, thoughts of expanding a business, or completely changing up your career even. Like just any big change like that that's been weighing on your soul quite a bit lately. I think this is a really good sign for this, because, I mean, who doesn't love to feel nurtured? And that's just kind of one of the core loves of humanity, right? I mean, we all love to feel like we're, you know, that we belong and that we have someone that's got our back. And another important thing to mention here is the corral. It's symbolized by the corral. And I think that also, it calls us to really know what our limits are. You know, you can't, as much as you want to do 500 things in one day and be as productive as possible, because we really live in a culture that prioritizes production and productivity over just about anything. And obviously we do need to have a certain level of that, but, you know, just really remember that, you know, you need to value you over just about anything. So just know your limits, know how much you can handle in a day, in a week, I mean, even within 10 minutes. I mean, just know what your limits are, and respect yourself enough to stick to those limits, you know, and don't let people force you beyond what you feel you can do. So, but also don't let them limit you either. So just really, I think closing that pile of cards, we're going to want to just keep in mind, you know, don't let other people, you know, throw off your vibe, throw off your thought process. Just remember how much you mean to yourself. You know, learning to love yourself is a really tricky thing to do, but it is necessary. It'll change your life. So just really start to maybe incorporate a little routine dedicated to you every part of your day. I mean, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 20 minutes, just any, you know, in the morning, you know, buy that nicer bag of coffee you keep thinking about wanting to get at the store, and just start drinking that in the morning. Or, you know, order your favorite breakfast or something, you know, like once a week, so you can just have that little gift to yourself pretty regularly, because that's ultimately, you know, that'll give us those feelings of really, you know, being able to nurture ourselves. And, you know, if we put that energy into ourselves, it'll be all that much easier to, you know, exude that energy and thus bring happy and healthy, nurturing energy into our lives. So, excuse me. Whew. I am dying with allergies right now, I think. It's not COVID, just been waking up all congested. But anyway, that is Central Texas for you. Okay, pile number 2 is going to be the Obsidian stone. So if you chose this one, this is for you. First card is the clover, the Lenormand clover. And as you could guess, I mean, the clover typically stands for luck, good fortune. So obviously a very great card to have on your side. That one's pretty straightforward. I think whatever your endeavor is right now, there's a lot of positive energy attached to it. You know, you're in a good headspace, and you know what your end goal is, and you're confident in that. despite any, you know, sort of setbacks that you might experience, you still know deep down that, you know, hey, I know this was really frustrating, but I do still see that finish line. The next card, again, is from the Hedge Witch Botanical Oracle, and this one is Growth. So this is another one that's, you know, it's a really great card to have in your pile, you know, because we all need to grow as people, and, you know, this, you know, you could be going through a period, I think a lot of people are right now, just given this, you know, we've kind of had to adapt our way of living over the past few months, but personal growth is really, really big in the collective right now. I'm getting the sense, you know, a lot of people are starting to really realize the benefits of, you know, things like talk therapy or, you know, meditation, treating yourself, for lack of a better term, you know, and just working on all of those, you know, inner wounds that we have that we may or may not realize that we have, and, you know, working on those and getting those, you know, to the forefront and bringing them into our awareness so that we can fix them. Excuse me. Not necessarily fix, that's not the right word, but just more so confront them, so that we can learn to work with them and, you know, eventually heal those wounds. And that's what personal growth is all about. So I feel like that's a theme right now. If you chose the second pile, you're definitely going through a period of just learning more about yourself and self-discovery and finding new hobbies and just a lot of fresh new ideas right now for you. And then another card that is up, the card that's up next is the Two of Swords. Now this is interesting, because there is typically a lot of there is a lot of hard and negative feelings that will come up when you're doing things like self-work, you know, or better known as shadow work. You're looking into those shadowy depths of your psyche and your personality and your ego, and you're learning things that, you know, you don't really like about yourself, but that's okay, because everybody has sides to themselves that are not, they're not pretty, you know, and if someone says that they don't have any negative traits, they're lying to you. So don't let outside influences, you know, tell you that, you know, you're a bad person, or don't let them judge you, because that's not, again, it's not helpful. It's not good for you, because everybody has done something or has certain traits that they're not proud of. I mean, it's just a fact of life. But this card has a lot to do with, you know, as we can see on the card, she's got the two swords in her hands and her, you know, her blindfold on. So she's kind of, maybe you're at the beginning of your self-growth journey, or you're either at the beginning and are unsure of what direction you want to go, trying to decide if therapy's for you, or if you need to try a different method of, you know, healing. You're not sure which direction to take. So you feel like you're kind of at a crossroads here. You know, you don't know, you're kind of getting all twisted up within yourself, and it's really confusing. And you feel like you're walking blind into this. But, you know, the good thing is about this card is it's not, and I really hesitate to call any card negative, because I really think that they're just calling, attention to certain things that we need to focus on. So this card, I mean, she's not bound to these swords at all. She doesn't, you know, she doesn't have to be holding them. If they're a burden to her, she could set them down and take the blindfold off if she wanted to, but she's so focused on the feeling of being tangled up that she doesn't know what to do. You know, she's focused on the wrong feeling. So I think maybe if we shift our focus to, you know, okay, I'm aware enough to know that, you know, I am human, and therefore I need, you know, I'm gonna do some inner reflecting. Focus on that, you know, focus on that idea. And I think most of you do have that locked in, you know, and you know where you want to be eventually, like I mentioned earlier with growth and luck. You know what your end goal is. You know that you want to be this quote unquote healthy person. But, you know, the getting from point A to point Z is, you know, there's a lot going on there. And that's what this is representing. So just try not to focus on the stress and chaos. Try to focus more so on, you know, what do you feel would be best for you? Even reach out to people who, you know, have maybe gone to therapy before. If you're comfortable reaching out to a friend or family member, you know, ask them how they went about finding, you know, or starting their journey. If you know someone who is, if you're more interested in the spiritual side of things, you know, maybe reach out to someone you follow, you know, or someone you look up to in some way, or again, friend or family member. You know, they are great resources for, you know, these kinds of journeys. So the next card is going to be the reversed Ten of Swords. And so this card tells me that there was definitely a catalyst situation to you wanting to start this self-growth journey. Again, maybe it was just anything that you can think of that maybe opened your eyes to the fact that, you know, hey, okay, I have these problems, or I have these addictions or these feelings, and, you know, I don't feel great about them. So, you know, I should do something about it. So whatever caused you to start getting into that mindset, you know, that's what this card is representative of. And it could be anything, and it doesn't even have to be something huge. It could be, but it doesn't have to be. Even if it was just, you know, someone making a snide comment to you on social media about something you wrote, and you're sitting there looking like, oh, wow, okay, maybe they're right. Maybe I do need to work on X, Y, Z. Just anything that maybe brought your attention to, you know, just needing to develop a little bit. And I will say, though, that typically this card points to things that are much more, you know, painful. There's some sort of strife and struggle that happens when that card comes up. So maybe it was, but it's not currently happening to you anymore. It's kind of in the past. So some sort of trauma that you experienced, or a breakup, the loss of someone, not necessarily because of death, but maybe a giant misunderstanding, and you acted out of turn. And, you know, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It really called your attention to, you know, okay, I need to work on this so that doesn't happen again. So whatever that situation was, you know, that's what this guy is pointing towards. And the last one in this pile is victory. So obviously, it's, again, pretty straightforward. You will be where you want to be. Now, the funny thing about, you know, the universe and setting goals, and it almost never happens as quickly as we want it to happen. So I think, you know, while, yeah, there will be victory, you're going to overcome all of your inner shadows and your traumas and your triggers. You're going to be completely fine. You're going to know how to manage all of this. And, you know, I'm not saying that your life is going to be perfect and you're never going to feel pain again, but you'll be well armed and well equipped with, you know, the tools you need to battle those things and to walk away relatively okay, you know. Just have patience, because this is not, you know, depending on literally how old you are or the gravity of your situation. I mean, you're not going to heal overnight. It's going to take years sometimes. So just make sure that you're patient with yourself and you're patient with your process, because there will be, you know, abundance and prosperity for you at the end in terms of self-development. And last but not least, the third pile is the Rose Quartz Moon pile. And the first one here, if this is your pile, the Lenormand card for children. So this card is usually, sometimes it means pregnancy and giving birth, but I'm really not getting that that's the sense for the collective right now. This is more geared towards accessing your inner child, you know, nostalgia. And I think that tends to be a theme around this time of year anyway, just with all of the holidays coming up. You know, a lot of us have, you know, very specific memories tied to, you know, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. You have a lot of really happy memories tied to those. Some maybe not so happy, but nonetheless we do have memories of these things, and so it makes us nostalgic this time of year, I think. So this is a card that has a lot to do with, you know, looking back and being nostalgic. And just another note on the accessing your inner child. I mean, we all have an inner child. You know, it's that part of us that every once in a while, you know, flips the Netflix on over to your favorite cartoon, even though you're a grown person and you're paying bills. You still feel that need to, you know, you just want to feel how you felt watching Saturday morning cartoons again. So you turn them on, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, I think this card's encouraging us to really listen to our inner child this time, you know, because sometimes we, excuse me, because sometimes, you know, we just ignore it. You know, you might have those urges. You might see, you know, a cute little stuffed animal or your favorite candy bar that you haven't had in 10 years. And, you know, you sit there and you look at it and you're like, oh, well, that's kind of silly for me to buy this thing, even though I really want it. It makes me really happy. You're like invalidating yourself by not allowing yourself to just enjoy it. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter that, you know, someone might think that you're goofy or silly for wanting a toy or a stuffed animal or to watch a Disney movie. It doesn't matter. So just a reminder, you know, do what makes you happy, as long as it's not hurting anybody. It doesn't matter, you know. Just really embrace your inner child, because I think a lot of our if you think of, like, you know, these people that you love quite a bit in your life, your favorite people to be around, a lot of them tend to be real, you know, they're fun and upbeat and they're goofy, and, you know, they really embrace, they're like a big kid at heart. You know, that doesn't mean that they're immature, it just means that they know how to have fun. And so I think this is just encouraging us to all, you know, especially right now, it's been a hard year, you know, for a lot of people, for a lot of different reasons. And I think we're, you know, just treat yourself to being, you know, able to express your childish, your nostalgic desires, you know, just embrace it. It doesn't matter, you know, it's fun and it makes you happy. So it doesn't matter what someone else is going to think. Just do it. And the next card is connection. Now this one is, again, I really feel like it's just calling you to connect with, just really connect with your inner child here. Like really, really connect with it. And this could be in a very, you know, just like I was just talking about, more of a jolly surface level kind of way where, you know, maybe like loosening up is a good way to put it. You know, I think that's one interpretation for this. Just reminding ourselves to, you know, cut ourselves some slack, loosen up, and just relax. You don't have to be serious, and, you know, you don't have to adult 24/7, you know, because that's no fun. None of us like to adult. But I think another interpretation of this would just to be make more connections with people that encourage you to cut yourself some slack. Don't surround yourself with people that are negative, constantly negative. I mean, and don't surround yourself with people that make you feel stupid for, you know, liking things that they deem silly or childish or pathetic, or, you know, they just don't bother with those kind of people. They're low vibrational. They're not worth the time of day or the concern. So just start thinking about whether or not your circle is full of people that you really and truly connect with. I mean, are you in these relationships because you feel like you have to be out of obligation, or because you're comfortable, or are you in this relationship because you really want to be and they make you feel good, you know? Either way, you know, and I'm not, again, don't do anything that you're not ready to do. You can't, you know, especially when it comes to readjusting your social circles, you know, you can't cut people out before you're ready to do so. So again, you know, don't watch this video and automatically start, you know, deleting people from your phone book. Just just observe, just be aware more so right now. Just be aware of how you feel around certain people, and just decide if they're you know, if they're worthy of being in your circle, because that's a very sacred and important place to be. And the next card is the Seven of Swords. So this is this kind of does point to social circles, at least in my opinion. Maybe you are maybe you're the mom friend, for lack of a better term. You do a lot of you carry around a lot of things on behalf of other people. You're kind of an emotional pack mule, so to speak. You take on everybody else's sorrows, you take on everybody else's problems, and you might actually be someone that gives really, really good advice, but then when time comes for you to need it, you know, you don't have people around you that either are capable of offering good advice or they just don't care enough to. And I think this is calling us to really stop taking on more than you can handle, emotionally speaking, or just in any kind of materialistic way too. But I think this more so points to like relationships, like friendships, relationships, family even. Just don't let obligation pressure you into playing therapist for people that would not do the same for you. So just make sure that there's a good amount of balance in your relationships, and you know, don't take on energy that's not yours. I mean, it's obviously a good thing to be sympathetic, even empathetic to a point, but you just don't want you don't want to do that so much that it weighs you down, that it bogs you down, because then, you know, you start feeling depressed and anxious or whatever emotions that you're absorbing from these people around you. So you just put down, he's carrying too many swords. You know, eventually he's going to hold those too tight and he's going to cut himself. So I think that's really a good metaphor to use in this situation, because, you know, if you're going to eventually come across someone that has some really, really messed up feelings, and if you're taking on everybody's feelings that's around you, that's in your circle, one of these days you're going to get hurt pretty bad, because you're dealing with things that you shouldn't even be dealing with in the first place. So just be really, really cognizant of how much energy from your social circles that you're taking on. Again, that's not to say you have to be cold and calculating and, you know, standoffish. Absolutely still be warm and friendly and love your friends, but just make sure that, you know, you can differentiate between what you feel and what they feel. And the next card is the Magician reversed. So this one usually points to some sort of trickery, a trickster in your social circles, be it, you know, even in relationships too, I want to say right now, someone that's maybe lying to you, someone that is manipulating you. They might seem they seem very put together, and they seem like they've just got it all figured out, and, you know, you're maybe even a little intimidated by them, and that might be part of the problem. But this is someone that is, they have a mask on. They don't have all of the tools that they need, and they know it. They're insecure. And so they go and they start leeching off of other people around them that are more capable. So in a weird roundabout way, if you have someone like this in your life that, you know, you're not sure that you can trust them, and you know, you just feel exhausted around them. They're always asking you for something, you know, but you just can't put your finger on why you feel that way about them. This is probably kind of drawing your attention to that person or persons. So just be aware. Again, this is all just for awareness sake. You really want to be aware that, you know, they might be taking advantage of you, and in a roundabout way, it's kind of like a compliment in a sense, I guess. Just because, you know, they see you as someone who does have it together, that does have all the tools, and they're trying to basically take that from you because they are too lazy to go and work for it themselves, or they don't know how, and they know that they don't know how, but they're too insecure to ask for help in a genuine way. So they just resort to, you know, leeching off of you. And this could be emotional leeching. This could be like literally stealing from you in a way. This could be just manipulation of the facts. I mean, someone at work, like a coworker that's maybe threatened by you, you know, and they're undermining you by, you know, being really nice to you to your face, but then, you know, they make offhanded comments about you to superiors, something like that. You know, just be aware of those little microaggressions from people around you. And the final card for this evening is healing. So again, there's been a theme here tonight of you know, good emotional work and shadow work, therapy, healing, trauma. I think that's really a theme right now for everybody. But this one indicates to me that this person that, you know, like as long as you are aware of your own inner wounds and your inner child, and you're willing to embrace the things that you genuinely love, no matter what they are, you know, if you're willing to really embrace those things, you won't have to worry about, you know, toxic people like this reverse magician person. You won't have to worry about them causing you any kind of pain. And if you're aware that, you know, some of these traumas that you have caused you to be very codependent and, you know, very like too empathetic, you know, like this guy who's carrying way too many swords, you know, you just want to be aware. Again, just be aware of that so you don't get hurt. This is all for your protection. You know, you don't, you know, getting in touch with the connecting with your inner child is going to really help you ultimately to heal and keep these people that drag you down out of your life, you know. So that's obviously that's a good thing. You don't want to have people, you don't want to have a social circle filled with negative people. You know, you want to be around very high vibrational people who love you and genuinely want to see you succeed. So if you don't trust your friends, then they're not really your friends. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I do really appreciate all feedback, so leave a comment or give me a follow. My Instagram is hexamagic it's just at hexamagic with a K. So HEXEMAGICK. So that's my Instagram handle. Feel free to go follow me over there. I also have a Facebook page, and I will be putting those links below. So thank you guys, and have a fantastic day or evening wherever you're from. Have a great night.